The call of the Hogs can be heard all the way to San Francisco.
You're listening to Pod at the Palace with Curtis Wilkerson on Inside Arkansas.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Wednesday, and welcome back to the Pod at the Palace. I'm your host, Curtis Wilkerson with Inside Arkansas. And today's episode is presented by our friends over at Roback Apparel. Just go to roback.com and use code HOGSBY20 for 20% off your first purchase today. Hope everybody's doing well today. Hump day already. It feels like this week is kind of flying by, for me at least. By the way, if you're gearing up for football, and most of you are at this point, that's okay. Make sure that you join Andrew Ellis and myself Thursday evening right here on this YouTube channel. We're going to go live for about an hour, little post-camp talk, little stock analysis of how we're feeling now that we've made it through a few weeks of camp here. It'll be fun. Little pregame week ball talk. Some predictions, talk about what's changed since the Hogs opened up practice, take some questions. It'll be good. And I'm sure if folks ask us about basketball or baseball, we will be happy to oblige for that as well. But I think it'll be a good time. We're shooting for about 7 o'clock or so. We'll see. Be on the lookout for that. We'll have it scheduled. But also just subscribe to the Inside Arkansas YouTube page and turn those notifications on, and you'll know when we go live. Also, very important, guys, we have ourselves a new point guard here at the Pod at the Palace. I am so excited to welcome our newest intern hire, Gigi Baker, to the team. She's going to be helping a ton behind the scenes. Believe it or not, there's a lot more that goes on to putting together this production here besides just sitting in front of a microphone and yapping. And she knows ball. So eventually I will convince her to start hopping on the show and hanging out for some segments. But Gigi is going to be an awesome fit here with our sicko committee of basketball lovers. And we're excited to have her. We've interviewed a bunch of intern applicants over the last few weeks here. And I really just wanted to have one of my own, because Pod at the Palace, man, we roll as much or more than Inside Arkansas Live even. It's an all day, it's 24/7, 365, baby. We're all over it. So, right away, it was clear that basketball is kind of her thing. And I told John afterwards, listen, man, this one's mine. Okay. So, we're excited to have Gigi. Happy she's on board, and going to be a lot of fun. So you'll be introduced to her here pretty soon. And yes, I'm still looking to add one more. I have heard from a couple folks via DMs, and John has passed along a couple emails to me, which is cool. And be on the lookout for a reach out here over the course of the next few days. And we'll see what happens here. Who's it going to be? Looking forward to it. And I'm also working on having a fairly regular guest, by the way, with us, maybe weekly or so during the season that you Razorback fans are going to be really, really excited about. Going to be a blast. So good things to come, but we do have a packed show for you here today as we kind of take a look ahead at the 2027 class and the names to know for the Razorbacks, who they're targeting early there on the recruiting trail. We're going to talk about John Calipari's solution to solving the transfer portal and rev share and this whole NIL goat rodeo that's out there. We got some other news and notes as well that we'll get to. So a lot going on. Let's do it. But first, we got to talk about today's sponsors. Yep, that's right. It's our friends over at Walter Christmas Lighting of Arkansas. Every day we do this on Inside Arkansas Live, we have at least one person that's like, oh, a Christmas lights ad in August. Well, it'll be November before you know it. You won't have anything done. And that's why we're getting out ahead of it early. But that's not the only holiday that you decorate for. Halloween is literally right around the corner. Go in any store. All you're going to see is candy, ghost, pumpkins, is pumpkin spice everywhere. You got to get ready for it. There's nothing worse than being the only house on the block that's naked. Well, all your neighbors are decked out for Halloween and Christmas. That's a tough scene, but it can be tough to find the time in a busy schedule to get decorated. I get it. Luckily for you, Walter Christmas Lighting has you covered for fall and winter. So if you're in Northwest Arkansas or the River Valley, hit them up. They can set you up with professional Halloween and Christmas lighting like you've never seen before. All materials are provided, any color, any pattern. They install the lights personally, free maintenance throughout the holidays. They come and take it all down for you there in January. Sounds like a good deal to me. If you sign up for their Halloween lights, you also get your Christmas lights for 50% off. Sounds like a good deal, right? Text our guy Brett today for a free estimate, 479-459-1380. You can also check out their website at walterchristmaslighting.com or like them on Facebook by scanning the QR code the bottom middle of your screen there. It's Walter Christmas Lighting of Arkansas, your local holiday lighting experts. All right. Now, this isn't something that directly impacts Arkansas, but it's kind of a weird thing that is connected to them all of a sudden. We all know that Arkansas and Duke will see each other on Thanksgiving. right? The big Thanksgiving spotlight game after football at the United Center in Chicago. Awesome. CBS, let's go. It's going to be electric. One of the best games of the college basketball slate for the entire season. This is a big time game. A lot of star power. Two really good teams. I love it. Did you guys see that this is now part of a doubleheader right there in the arena? I heard that earlier today, and immediately I was like, oh, wow. Who else did they get in there? You know, what is this going to be? Will it be one of those cool 2-game classics like the Jimmy V or whatever? Well, it's Northwestern versus Oklahoma State. Okay. That feels incredibly random to me, but sure, why not? So that game will happen before Arkansas and Duke takes place there. I know Northwestern is local, so that I guess it makes a little bit more sense. But anyway, tickets go on sale October 3rd. I just thought I would hit you with that. If you're going down there, you want a 2-for-1 special, then hop in and check out the Northwestern and Oklahoma State game. No more Devo Davis at Oklahoma State, so you can't watch him. Sorry about you. All right, so next week is game week for football, and then we're going to be full throttle into visit season for these 2026 guys, right? With Arafan Gian, Jordan Smith Jr., Tay Kenny, Cole Kloer, back-to-back weekends starting September 12th. And yes, this is a list that I expect to grow by at least 2. Like Abdou Toure, I'd be very, very surprised if that doesn't get finalized soon when he's coming to town. Yeah, you know, Brandon McCoy, Caleb Holt, Jace Foster, you know, Jacob Weber, Tyron Stokes. And yet right before I started recording, I got his notifications on, and he put out 5 different colored hearts. Just randomly tweeted that out. And so what does that mean? Everybody's doing the cryptic thing. Maybe we'll know by the time this show goes out in the morning, but there were 2 red hearts there. Is one Louisville? Is one Arkansas? I see the blue. Is that Kentucky? Green? Oregon? What's going on here? Man, I don't know. So we'll see what that looks like there. But with all that in mind, my point is this feels like a good time and probably the best time here for us to, you know, before we get all caught up in everything else going on, just do a quick look ahead at the rising juniors that Arkansas is involved with. Know the names, know a little bit about their game. That way you can tell your friends when they start popping on campus for unofficials at football games, or, you know, when the staff or John Calipari flies out to see one of these guys at a practice come September 3rd, when the recruiting period opens back up in a couple weeks. So whatever. So we'll talk about Arkansas offers, confirmed interest, and let's roll through the early 2027 targets here. I've got a dozen or so names that we'll go through pretty rapid fire. Still very early with all these guys, right? CJ Rosser, he is a name that we have talked about from North Carolina, has an Arkansas offer already. John Calipari was courtside for him on numerous occasions throughout the course of the summer. Very versatile scorer. He's good. The number 2 overall player in the class, right? So he's got to be. I think he's got a case for number 1. Bruce Branch is really, really good. He'll probably hold on to that, but he also might reclassify up himself. So CJ Rosser's got a shot to be the number 1 guy in this class. He's playing his junior year in Florida, killed it in the U16 AmeriCup in Mexico. I think he averaged like 14 and 6. So he's really, really good. But I'll say I would keep a close eye on Arkansas with this one. They've been on him hard, and folks in the industry are very quick to point to the Hogs, amongst others, but Arkansas certainly included there right away when his name is mentioned. Next guy up, Paul Asarui, 6'10 forward. Yeah, I say I put him at 6'8 there. One service has him at 6'8, one has him at 6'10. Let's call him 6'9. Maybe we'll do that. How's that sound? He was the youngest player playing on the EYBL, 17U, actually, with AZ Unity this summer. So playing up, he averaged a little under 10 points and 5.5 rebounds per game. This is shaping up to be a little bit of a blue blood recruitment. Literally all the heavy hitters are involved here early, as they should be, because he's really good. And that includes Arkansas there. Ryan Hampton, 6'5 guard. He's a number 5 overall prospect in his class. We talked about him the other day with that, regardless of class rankings that ESPN put out, he was on it. This is RJ Hampton's brother. We talked about him the other day. He was a hot shot recruit, really, really good player, wound up doing the NBL thing in Australia, got drafted. It's kind of bounced around. I think he's in the G League now, but Ryan is a big John Calipari guy. Like, he's really talked him up in interviews when he's asked about his recruitment and everything. I feel like this might be a fall visit candidate, so keep an eye on him. Marcus Spears, another guy that we talked about a couple days ago, 6'7 wing. number 6 player in his class. I love his game. He's a junior. And what I mean by that is he's a junior in high school. He's also Marcus Spears Jr. His dad, Marcus, is the NFL analyst on ESPN. He's a really talented forward. I think he could end up being potentially the best player in the class as well. Like he's really, really good. It's rare that you see a guy who's ranked, number 6 in his class. And you're like, he might be a little underrated. I kind of feel that way with Marcus. Arkansas is offered here, did so this summer. So, hey, one to watch for the Razorbacks. I really like this one a lot. Nasir Anderson, 6'4", 205, number 7 overall player. He's a point guard, big guard, classic downhill style that John Calipari covets. Nice player. He was actually the MVP of that U16 AmeriCup. He's an absolute menace. I mean, think about it for a second. 6'4", 205. He looks like a football player out there, and he's a rising junior in high school. What could that be this time of year from now? 6'5 plus, 220, 225. Guy's going to be an absolute horse. King Gibson. He's one that I like a lot. 6'5", big guard, very, very long wingspan. He's smooth. I really have enjoyed watching him play. Arkansas, BYU. This is a North Carolina kid. NC State, North Carolina, both pretty heavily involved there. More big dogs are starting to get involved with him. And that includes Arkansas. Like, Arkansas is relatively new to the table with this one. But again, we're talking about a kid that's a year away from even thinking about making any decisions. So you have to keep that in mind. Like there have been a number of guys, like Rosser being one of them, Spears, guys that Arkansas has been aware of. They've kind of been in on, hey, you're interested in me, I'm interested in you, we get it. But really, these guys start getting identified more heavily this summer is when it's all happening. That's why this list is kind of expanded, and I like him. Now, Josh Leonard, this is not a typo, by the way. Man, I'm a sucker for them big-bodied wings now. 6'6", 230. 6'6", 230. College-ready body at 16 years old. He's bigger than some of Arkansas football's tight ends, man. I like it. I like it a lot. There are a ton of schools on him. I am told that Arkansas has entered the mix here heavily recently, like within the last few weeks. They've kind of been making a push here. So a name to know, Josh Leonard. Beckham Black. Need we say more? Yeah, it's AB's brother. If there's another member of this family playing college basketball and it's not at Arkansas, we may have a riot on our hands. I don't know what to tell you. Good player. He's a lot of fun. I don't know if he's quite at the level of AB, but he's not as big yet. So that could be part of it. Man, he's smooth. He's a lot of fun. He spent a lot of time at Bud Walton Arena too. Let's have him spend a year at college there. How's that sound? Jalen Mitchell, 6'7" wing. This is a guy who played up a decent amount with Brad Beal Elite on the EYBL this year. So obviously teammates with JJ Andrews and caught the attention of Arkansas that way and came off the bench for him. Really solid role player for him. Averaged like 6 and 4. But again, this is a team that won Peach Jam and had JJ Andrews playing out there on the wing or off the ball. So Tyrone Jamison, we know all about him. We've talked about Tyrone a decent amount recently because he got his Arkansas offer recently. This is a kid who has visited unofficially to Fayetteville already. If you told me, hey, call a commitment now a year in advance for the 2027 class, this would be my pick. Really, really good player from Louisiana. He will be back to campus this fall, I imagine, but Arkansas is in a really strong early position with Tyrone Jamison. Devin Cleveland, another 6'3" guard, top 30 guy in his class. If I was to pick another call a commit candidate, Devin would be up there on that list as well. Another guy who's already visited once. He really loves him some Coach Cal in Arkansas too. Like, speaks really, really highly of him. You love to see it. A source told me on Tuesday, though, that he maybe could be a reclass candidate himself up to 2026, which immediately kind of turns my attention to his other top suitor, Marquette, because Shaka Smart takes a lot of reclass guys. He never utilizes the portal. So I think that would be appealing for them, more so maybe than it would be Arkansas. But I don't know. A long way to go on this one, though, but he certainly likes the Hogs. Anderson Diaz, the last one here, another recent Arkansas offer who we've discussed on this show, the classic New York guard. Tough as nails. He's a bucket. He's good. He's fun to watch. Arkansas has been in constant contact with him of late. Louisville, Syracuse, Illinois, some of the others that are in the mix there early for him as well. So there you have it. That was good. Yeah, like 10 minutes, right? There's another name or two that Arkansas has been connected with, just not enough traction for me to mention them just yet, or and I'm sure, hell, like I'm not going to sit here and say that I know every single player in this class inside and out just yet. So the list will certainly grow, and when it does, we'll update it. And I'm really looking forward to seeing who pops up on campus this year. Arkansas is always good about having, some guys in the junior class who show up at these football games on unofficials. They show up in those early season games, like the exhibitions. You'll have some 2027 guys who pop up at Bud Walton. So it'll be good. But just want to get you guys familiar with some of the names and the early targets for whenever we do turn the page to that. Time flies when you're having fun, I guess you could say. And today's episode of the Pilot Palace is also presented by our friends at BetSaracen. It's Arkansas's #1 sports betting app. Sign up today. If you haven't done so already, what are you waiting on? I mean, like it's here. Week 0, man. You got all the opportunities in the world to win money. Sign up today with promo code BOOSTED, and you will get 100% profit bonus to use on a bet of your choosing. I like the way that sounds. Betting odds must be plus 5,000 or shorter. So, plus 1,500, plus 1,000, plus 100, whatever. Any type of bet's fair game. Pre-match, in-play, single game, parlays, any sport, league, or event. It doesn't have to be Razorback specific. It doesn't have to be college sports. It can be pro, whatever you want to do. This is for new players, new bettors only. $25 max wager does apply. Just use the code again, BOOSTED. That's BOOSTED for 100% profit boost on the app today. And get to winning big money this season by downloading BetSaracen on your iPhone and your Android. You can also bet online at BetSaracen.com. It's BetSaracen, Arkansas's #1 sports betting app. And while I have you, just one more call to action here to all you golfers out there in Little Rock, Northwest Arkansas, to get signed up for an opportunity to have some fun out on the course and help a great cause. On August 25th, grab your clubs for a day on the greens for a good cause. Every drive, putt, high five, it all helps the Ronald McDonald House Charities in Arkansas and North Louisiana, providing comfort and care to families with ill or injured children. This is more than just a golf tournament. It's a chance to make a real difference. This year, they're playing in Little Rock at Pleasant Valley Country Club and Rogers at Pinnacle Country Club. So pick your location and sign up now because spots are filling fast. Breakfast and lunch will be served at the event. Can knock some golf balls around and help some folks in the process there. So sign up today, rmhcarkansas.org/events. Proceeds from the tournament in Rogers support the Ronald McDonald House and Ronald McDonald Family Room in Northwest Arkansas. I was taking my baby classes up there at the hospital, and it was right next door to that Ronald McDonald House Family Room there. And I was like, oh man, I know all about that. So good cause. Okay. Moving on to the last couple things here on the show today. We've been talking a lot of recruiting. Okay, fair enough. And that's fitting, I think, given this John Calipari clip that came out late in the day on Tuesday that I'm not necessarily reacting to directly. I'm actually going to be reacting to the full podcast. This is on the Nothing Personal podcast with David Sampson, which, look, man, you have an open invite to be on the Pot at the Palace. Like, what the hell are we doing here? Why would you do anyone else's show? I don't understand. All joking aside, a lot of this and the clip that was put out there was kind of Cal's standard spiel on, change the portal rules. Don't sweat nickels on the way to $200 million. You guys know the drill. But he was talking about freshman recruiting and said that there were coaches out there who were not at a single game evaluating throughout the course of the entire summer. And that's true. It kind of felt like a shot at Rick Pitino, to tell you the truth, because he's pretty open about, I'm not doing the freshman thing, which cool. But anyway, his point was that schools out there they're either going to cherry pick transfers or they'll simply pay more NIL to get a kid that they want instead of doing all the legwork and the relationship building. Isn't that the crux of the issue, though? You know what I mean? Like, coaches are creating this transfer portal culture by their own recruiting habits and then bitching about it. So it's kind of crazy to me. But, a guy like Cal, who obviously still values traditional recruiting, who obviously, it feels like he's stuck between a rock and a hard place because he either has to take the risk of going all in on what he's so passionate about, a bunch of freshmen, whatever, at the risk of getting burned like he did at Kentucky, or adapt, and then all of a sudden you come across like a hypocrite because you're an example of the new landscape of college athletics that has him so ticked off. So it's kind of a tricky spot to be in. I've got to give Cal credit for finding what I think is a pretty good middle ground with the way that he's started constructing his roster. Premium on retention, attack, the high school recruiting for elite talent and multi-year contributors, fill the gaps with the portal because it is a necessary evil for everybody. Fair enough. Also, by the way, Cal's also starting to remind me of like the fisherman's tale. Like, man, I caught this fish and it was this big. And then he tells the story again to somebody else and then it was a little bit bigger. And before you know it, he's telling the story and actually I caught a whale. Can you believe it? It's the same thing on this podcast, but it was, man, my 18-year-olds, they were playing against 22, 23-year-olds is what he was saying a couple years ago. Then last summer when he got the Arkansas, it was, man, my 18-year-olds, we were playing against 25, 26-year-olds against Oakland, whatever. And then today on his podcast, he was like, man, they were playing against 27, 28-year-olds. Sir, the only school in college athletics with players that age is the University of Arkansas where you were employed. Shout out to Uncle Monty Harrison. All right. What are we doing here? Now, one thing that Cal is a proponent of that I am as well is putting that eligibility clock at 5 years. And that's that. Not 5 years to complete 4 seasons of eligibility, but you get 5 years. And if you play 5, great. If you redshirt, sorry about you. If you get hurt, that really stinks too. But the point is you got the same length window of opportunity to capitalize on that as anybody else. Because if we're paying players now, especially paying directly, which is what rev share is, like schools actually paying the players, you kind of need everyone to be operating on the same timeline, in my opinion. It's like if I'm a 5-star and I come in, I get hurt my first year, then I redshirt my next year as I'm recovering, and then I appeal with the NCAA to get extra time, I could wind up with 6-7 years of potential rev share and NIL. Like on one hand, you feel like you're taken away from guys in those situations if you don't help them there. And I understand that part of it. But on the other hand, it is almost like a kid who comes to school, plays his 4 years and graduates is getting penalized by losing out on a full year of compensation for what? Not getting injured? Not needing to redshirt to develop? Like, this is kind of why a guy like Zakai Ziegler applied for an extra year. Now, he did have the injury thing mixed in there, but I don't know. I think that that's a pretty good idea to make it fair, opportunity-wise for everyone. Another fascinating tidbit from this interview with Cal, folks, this man might actually be a genius. I'm serious. Like, I think he figured it out. By the way, it is storming. I wonder if anybody heard that outside. It is storming outside my house right now. I might need to call HD Roofing. Anyway, Cal, he brought up collectives, the donor booster driven NIL vehicles that can suck like Arkansas Edge has, or it can carry you like the Grove Collective at Ole Miss has from a football standpoint. So as soon as the word collective came out of Cal's mouth, I was like, oh man, here we go. I'm going to have to take a stance against my man Cal here. I don't want to do that, but no. John Calipari is not anti-collective. Thank goodness, because that's your pot at the end of the rainbow, dude. But he suggested, what if collectives could not be used for recruiting? You hear that and you're like, well, what the hell would you use them for? His thought is collectives would only be available for retention. Okay, now this is interesting. And I really think that he's onto something. If, and I cannot stress that word enough, if there is a uniform amount of money across the board for revenue share. There has to be. Otherwise, this doesn't make sense. This does you no good if Kentucky is getting $9 million in rev share and North Carolina is getting $7 million in rev share and you're getting $4 to $5 million. And Cal pretty much directly alluded to that. He's like, hey, there are some schools out there that have like twice as much as we do. Okay, so if that's the case, then you need those collectives and everything to close the gap, which for Arkansas, it can, does, will, all those things. So I'm not sweating it. Maybe there's a cap that gets placed on per sport rev share. I mean, they have a cap on the total amount, and then they're allowing schools to disperse it however they want. So maybe you put a cap on per sport allotment. And schools can then decide if they want to meet it or not, but you can't be operating at half budget, for fleshing out your roster. So if that's, hey, you can give up to 25% for basketball or up to 30% for basketball in your rev share for men's basketball, and no more, then okay. If Arkansas wants to give 30%, great. If they don't and they want to give 20 or 25 and give the rest of football, well, that's their choice. But you can't have somebody who's out giving 50% of their rev share to their basketball program, and then you're putting a real tough spot there. I know you'd have to figure out the Big East that doesn't sponsor football, but they also are not bringing in football revenue. So it's not like they have all that money anyway. But I love the idea of collective-driven retention. Why? Well, for starters, I think it almost serves as a reward and an incentive to return to your school. You know what I'm saying? Like, so for example, if you get what you get for rev share as a freshman, and then whatever external NIL deals you get, external, not from your collectives, not from donors, whatever, but like Darius A. Cuff and Reebok, for example, or Cam Ball and Kingsford Charcoal or whatever it was today. So you get that, you play your freshman year, and then you go pro, or the added money from the collective on top of what you're getting entices you to come back. A better example here to solve some of the portal craziness, and we know that's what really drives John Calipari crazy, is you get rev share only as a freshman, and then, yeah, you can transfer, but that's still coming out of rev share. Whoever gets you is only going to be able to pay you through rev share for your first year, wherever you're going. So yeah, you're free to transfer. That's okay. But it kind of eliminates some of that bidding war nonsense. Like a school can still offer you however much they want from their revenue share. Like if they've got $4 million in their pot and JT Toppin enters the transfer portal, they say, well, we're going to give you every bit of that. Well, okay, so be it. That's your decision. But the school that you are at currently now has like semi-protection from tampering because they can sweeten the pot from their own NIL collectives that other people can't do to poach you away. So I think far more players would stay put. You'd have more continuity. I think it's a good idea. You need to figure out some details, though. I get that. There would have to be some contract language that protects players or gives them some level of grace or exception if they get, processed, like cut or whatever for non-legal related reasons. Or obviously, if your coach gets fired or takes a different job or something else, yeah, like there would have to be exceptions there. It wouldn't solve all the issues, but I do think that it would help quite a bit. So I was pretty impressed with the idea. I hadn't thought of that. I think it's a really good one. And shout out to John Calipari, by the way, also for calling a spade with the NIL clearinghouse, rev share enforcement arm. This thing that's run by Deloitte is the company. Because it's always been crazy to me that Deloitte gets chosen to run this operation when they have standing relationships with a number of institutions out there. So right away, you've got a potential conflict of interest when you're supposed to be objectively evaluating everybody's NIL deals. How can you do that when some of these schools are paying you? And Cal just flat out called it out, which I thought was awesome. So Deloitte gets to determine fair market value for an athlete's NIL deals when the only way to determine something that has not been established is just by determining what someone's willing to pay an athlete to do something. So who the heck are you to make these calls all of a sudden? It's crazy. It's why this fantasy land idea that playing fields will be level and buying rosters is going to go away. It's nonsense. That's crazy. It's too late. The genie has already been let out of the bottle. He already granted his 3 wishes and he went back home. He's not coming back out. Sorry, you did this. Toothpaste is out. You can't put it back in the tube. Anyway, it's good stuff from Cal, man. Really was. He does need to come on the Pod at the Palace, though, for real. He is not the special weekly guest that Razorback fans will be really excited about. Although he can be, if he wants to be, hint, hint, wink, wink. Okay, before we get out of here, one more thing I want to share, because I said on the show yesterday, as we were putting out the AI generated images of Arkansas playing people outdoors. I got one sent to me via my DM, so let me pull it up real quick. It's from our friend Hickory Hog. Like if you've been on Inside Arkansas Live or on the post games in the chats, whatever, Hickory Hog. He sent me Arkansas versus Little Rock at Riverfront Park right there in Little Rock. Absolutely love it. Let me pull it up here. Look at that. That's kind of cool, like because the bridge has got the lights and everything like that, so you can have it special for that game. Playing it right outside there. Be careful, folks. But I already like this better because the Razorbacks don't have two guys wearing the same uniform number. Look at Cal. He's stressed out right now. Like, is there about to be a turnover? He's not happy. Somebody just take a bad shot. Look at him. But that's a cool picture. I like that a lot. I appreciate that. Keep sending those to me. That stuff is fun, man. We'll pull it up. We'll talk about it. I would like that. I would rather him play it, outside than at Simmons Bank. Because I always say it, the Simmons Bank Arena, the atmosphere is always electric. I love going over there because it's loud, it's rowdy. It's a pretty cool home court advantage. I really enjoy it, no matter who comes in there. The games are always weird. And sometimes it's because the lights don't come back on after starting lineup intros. Sometimes it's because Hofstra is feeling froggy. Sometimes it's because Valpo's going crazy. It's just always uncomfortable, the game itself. It wasn't this year with Cal. Who'd they play over there? UCA, I think it was. Blasted them. Looked good. Anyway, out of here for the day. Appreciate you guys tuning in, tapping in as always. We'll be back in the morning. You guys know the drill. We ride at dawn, and we'll see you then. It's been Curtis Wilkerson with Inside Arkansas on the Path to Palace. Y'all have a good day.